right, great. So Vance, raving fans for life. So, all right, that's your tagline. What does it mean?
It means, well, pretty much exactly what it says is that you want to get clients who are going to stay with you for life. They're a heck of a lot more profitable than always going out and getting new customers. New customers are expensive. Existing customers are inexpensive to keep. For my home service businesses, it cost me $136 to get a new customer in the front door. Only cost me $23 a year to keep them. So the minute I serve an existing customer, I'm over $100 more profitable right from the get-go.
Yeah. So deepening relationships and keeping in touch and build and continuous rapport is important. So it's interesting. So customer acquisition. So how did you calculate that? How do you know those numbers?
Well, I kind of a simple guy, so I go with simple numbers. I look at the our marketing costs, what it costs us to get new customers in, whether it be Google pay-per-click or Yellow Pages or anything. Um, Associate the time that the our customer service rep answers the phone, come up with that dollar figure, and divide it by the number of new customers we got, and voila, there's the number.
Here's the number. Okay, so raving fans for life are your clients from a specific industry, from different industries.
So the tagline is really to get my consulting clients to think about how do we get customers for life, because that's really the goal. They refer, they are susceptible to additional purchases, cross-selling, upselling, etc. And if you have a service that requires multiple touches, so like carpet cleaning, you need them to come out every 9 months. Then that's what you need is raving fans for life. That's what I have in my own home service businesses. So we're Disney right now. If you went to Disney, 80% of the people who are in the park right now have been there before. It's only 20% new. I figure if that ratio is good enough for Disney, it's good enough for me. So that's the number that we shoot for. Right now, we're anywhere between 67 and 71%, depending on the month.
Okay, but that's still considered pretty good, especially industry standard for the home services industry.
Oh, it's outstanding. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's more than double the
yeah.
industry standard, but not good enough for me.
Okay, so you've got very high standards, which is fine. So tell me a little bit about the businesses that you own. What industries are you, or what specific home services are you actually in?
Sure, I've got a mold remediation company, a Oriental rug washing facility, and then a traditional carpet cleaning company.
Okay, can you give us the names of the companies?
I can. We have Maryland Mold Busters. We have Eastern Shore Rug Cleaning and Eastern Shore Carpet Cleaning.
Okay, so all right, awesome. So there's a vertical there, and do they cross sell?
Oh, sure. That's
They
the
do.
whole point. Yep. Yeah, we started with the carpet cleaning business, and I was tired of walking over top of rugs to get to carpet. So I said, well, we should probably be cleaning these. So so it
And
opened up the
voila.
Oriental rug division. Not really division, but the service. And we did that actually with everything in the home. We didn't start out cleaning tile. Again, tired of walking over it to get the stuff, so clean that. Pretty much anything you can walk on or sit on, we now clean. Um, and when we started the mold company about 6 years ago, 7 years ago, um, we went right to our existing customer list and said, "Hey, we're starting this. If you have any concerns with mold, give us a shout." And I think we got, just from that one email, I think we got like 3 jobs. So,
And then the ball started rolling.
and then the ball started rolling.
That's interesting. So there's an overlap on the verticals, and then so are you franchised or how are you running it?
We started out as a franchise for the carpet cleaning. Like many franchises, they're good at their core competency, which is making chemicals. They kind of suck at the rest, for lack of a better term. Um, so the contracts kept getting worse and worse. So after 3 contract rounds, I got out of it and went independent.
Okay, and so you have what? Tell me about the organization. What's it look like?
Oh, but the whole thing?
Yeah, so all right, I'm thinking in my head, I'm visualizing this organizational chart. So you've got this big umbrella. So is there a parent company that overarches everything, and then you've got the three different
Yep.
services? Okay.
Yep. So I Chesapeake Service Solutions is the C Corp. Um, I have a general manager that runs all three businesses. So I spend about 90 minutes a week on those three businesses, which gives me time to do the stuff I love, which is the consulting and coaching with other small businesses on how to do essentially what I did, which is get those customers for life.
Okay. So how many employees do you have total?
Here in Maryland, five, and then our customer service rep is international.
Okay. So, and that's enough to generate the business and to fulfill the services on when they need it, right?
That and pay me, and I don't have to be there. That's the important part.
That's well, is that what we call passive residual income? Would that be?
That would be passive. Yes, my definition of financial freedom is the ability to come and go as I please from my businesses, and I don't affect them one iota unless I'm determined to do so.
Yeah, that's good. Well, so a lot of that is, I'm sure, rests on the shoulders of your GM, making sure you make a good hire and you compensate them well and let them do their job, right?
Yeah, and the thing with the GM as well as, in order for me to get out of the business, I had to install some pretty robust systems. So, we have our marketing system, our customer retention system, our operation system. And essentially, when I hired him, I said, don't screw with anything, just manage the systems, and we'll be fine. And if you've got ideas or you want to change things, well, that's why we meet every week for an hour, pitch your ideas then, and we'll see what happens with them.
That's good. So how often do you pivot when he makes a suggestion?
Weekly. I mean, if he
So
has a suggestion, yeah, we'll
that's
make
good.
the change that week. He's learned to come with at least three solutions to the same problem. That way, I don't have to think of the solution. Um, and one of the three that he comes up with is usually the right one.
All right, so you got a good person there. And you're giving him the space to do what he has to so he can take ownership and responsibility, which is good.
100%. I mean,
Yeah. I think
I,
too
I
many
mean,
business
weeks will go by where I don't talk to him,
that's
except
good.
at our weekly meeting.
I know so many entrepreneurs that I work with, they want to micromanage everything and then they have high turnover and they can't understand it. Why are people leaving? Stop micromanaging them.
Exactly.
Just what like you said. So are you familiar with Michael Gerber's book,
Oh yeah.
The
Oh yeah. Love
Immaterial?
that book.
So I recommend that. I'm glad to hear that you love that book. I love that book too. So and I recommend it to some of my clients. And I'm like, you got to stop. First of all, you got to get out of the employee mentality because now you're a business owner. You're
Yep.
not getting a paycheck. You have to create a paycheck. And then the other piece of it is right with this, like you said, systems. So we start talking about that and then creating the book, like, just hand somebody your SOPs, even if it's electronically, however you do it, it doesn't matter. But so that's really great. We
Yeah,
use
and I didn't come up with them all at once. I mean, these were
takes time.
iteration after iteration.
Yeah.
Sometimes when I was cleaning carpet, I sit there and just record myself. Here's what I'm doing, and then transcribe it and turn it into a SOP.
Yeah. You know what, it's so interesting because sometimes I think people get overwhelmed. Some of my clients, when I first start working with them, and they're self-sufficient, self-motivated, driven, successful business and entrepreneurs and C-level executives. And I'll say to them, well, what's the process? And they're like, well, what do you mean? What's the process? Well, what's your operating procedure? What do you mean? Okay, what's the step-by-steps that you do? Tell me what you do. And that they can read off. And I'm like,
Right.
great. That that is your SOP. That's your process. That's your system. Now document it.
Exactly.
It's like,
Well, document is vital, and then not just documenting, but retraining, reviewing on a consistent basis. I mean, if you look at Ritz-Carlton, they've got what 10 or 11 standards, and every Ritz-Carlton in the world goes over the same standard each day and they just rotate. So they're all talking about the same thing. And yeah, because I mean, people, they don't always like to be told what to do, but if you're reminding them what they have to do, that's a little bit better than always having to tell them what to do.
Yeah, and well, look, so when you're talking about solopreneurs or you're talking about them having a sales team or a customer service team or the people who are actually doing the service, the technicians, right? And they're an extension of you, your reputation, and the business that you built. So, do you want consistency? So you brought up the Ritz-Carlton. You can go to any Ritz-Carlton, to your point, anywhere globally, and you will see the same processes and systems. So there is consistency.
Yep.
And people get used to, okay, I know the brand. Marriott does the same thing. I know when I go to Marriott, this is what the experience is going to be wherever that Marriott is
Yep.
located. And I think that, that's a testament to having consistency and consistent SOPs. We call them standard
Right.
operating procedures, right? So, all right. So now you've pivoted a little bit. So you're still running that, and now you're doing consulting and coaching. So now you have clients in a whole nother business model. So
Yeah,
tell us a little
100%.
bit about that. When did you start that? How did that work?
2015.
So you've
So
been
what was
doing
it?
it for a little
11 years
while.
ago?
Yeah.
2013, 2015, one of the two.
Okay. So how did that get jump started?
People, well, I guess I gave the appearance of not working very hard. And people wanted to know how the heck I was doing that. So I started, kind of letting people know, here's what I do, here's the systems. And then started getting tired of doing it for free. And so I started charging people for that same information. And
Good
that's
for you.
kind of how the whole thing was born.
How's that going for you?
It's going great. Really expanded, beyond consulting, individual clients, able to have a mastermind now. We've been running for 6 years, which is just so powerful, not only for the members, but for me. I get so much out of it. Um, and then the fun thing I get to do is take business owners down to Disney for 3 and 4 day full immersion boot camps. So we'll go down there, we'll spend half the day in the classroom, half the day in the theme park. And then, my job really is just to figure out, okay, how do we adapt what Disney is doing into whatever it is you do? So home inspector or, plumber or whatever.
There must be so many people right now listening and saying, how do I get in on that deal?
Give me a buzz. Our next one's coming up in October.
Okay, so your next trip to Disney?
Hmm.
Okay, so what is the criteria? Do I have to be a client of yours or how do I get
No,
on board?
no, nope. Criteria is pretty simple. You, well, one, you should be a business owner. Um, if you want to send an employee, that's fine, but the business owner has to come too. Otherwise, it's just a nice paid vacation because I really only work with principals, people who can affect change within their business. So, I mean, I've had people bring their entire team, which is great as well. But if the primary stakeholder is not going to be there, I mean, you can come, I'll take your money, but you're not going to get much out of it. Um, but that's really the criteria.
Okay, wait, when in October are you going? I gotta check my calendar.
I think it's the 23rd-ish, somewhere around
Okay,
there.
end of the month. Okay, end of October. For anybody out there who wants to join Vance and his team. So how many people typically go?
I try to keep it right around between 30 and 35,
Hmm.
because we do the tours through the parks. If I have any more than 30 people trailing behind me, I end up losing them. It's like herding cats. Um, and so that's really kind of the sweet spot. I've done it as little as 12. The tours are easy, it's more intimate, but the meeting time tends to lack a little bit of energy because the group is small. Um, and then I've done groups of 100, and those are, I've had to actually split those. 50 is my max. So I did 100 Italian business owners last year, and I had to split it up into two separate events because there was just no way I was. No way I was doing that. And it was the first time I was working with real-time translation, which is no easy thing for anybody who thinks that looks easy. It is not.
So they all came into the US or you had to go to
Yeah.
Italy? Yeah,
Yeah,
you
no, we had all of them flew to the
nice.
U.S. We did a 4-day event with them. A lot of them brought their families because they can make it a vacation. The hotel room sleeps 5 people, so they would do that, and mom or dad would go to the event. But yeah, it was different. It's nothing like telling a joke, and if you tell a joke to an American audience, for me, I know immediately when it bombs because nobody laughs. But with the Italian audience, I told the joke and I thought, oh, well, that one bombed. And then like 3 seconds later, everybody laughs because the
Oh, the
translation is
translator.
translators, 3 seconds, 4 seconds behind me. So it kind of threw me off my game a little bit, presenting from stage because, you know, I had to wait for them to tell the joke or explain the story or
And
whatever.
wait for the reaction.
Uh,
Yeah, it's so
it
funny.
was it, it was
Interesting.
fun though. We made it work.
That's good. So in all of the experiences that you have, the consulting and the coaching part, which is your favorite of everything that you do?
I would say that probably the one-on-one consulting, where I get to go to the person's place of business, whether it's a storefront or an office of a dentist or financial advisor, and really roll up my sleeves and work with their team in their business.
Yeah.
Um, the coaching to me can be frustrating because I get the same people coming on the coaching calls that have been asking the same question for the last 3 years, and they haven't done squat about helping themselves. And for me, as a coach, that's draining and irritating. I'm like, get up off your butt and go do something. Don't come back to this call until you've implemented something, is what I'd like to say. But evidently, in the coach handbook, that's what you shouldn't say. I don't know.
Yeah,
But
I know. There's a lot of things that there's a should and shouldn't checklist somewhere in that book,
yeah,
right?
I'm sure there is.
Uh,
But yeah, no, I love, and don't get me wrong. I mean, some of the folks in the coaching group are great. They're not at the point of their business where they can afford me one-on-one. So the group coaching gives them, that
that
opportunity to
opportunity.
get, Vance time at a little bit lower rate.
Yeah. So it's interesting. There's a couple groups similar to that where they meet once a month as a mastermind and then they incorporate that coaching one-on-one. So is this your own thing or are you part of a bigger platform?
No, no, this is me
Well, Vance
100%.
Morris.
I've got the early easy entry to Vance, kind of like dip your toe in the water, is my lowest coaching level. It comes with I do a 24-page print newsletter every month. The only place you can get it is through the mail. There is no digital version of it. Um, I just find that if you got something to hold on to, I mean,
Yeah,
you get that
sometimes.
tactile sense. You can highlight it and scribble notes in it. And I mean, you really can't do that on an iPad because you screw the thing up for life. Um, and it comes in the mailbox, so there's no other distractions. You can carry it around with you, put your coffee on top of it if you want. But it's all strategies and tactics on customer retention, customer experience, and what I call direct response marketing. And then they get a coaching call with that. And for $97 a month, that is a great entry to
Yeah,
me. And then it goes up from there. I've got a mid-tier coaching, and then I have the mastermind, which is kind of the top level.
very nice. So do you have overlapping industries or who are your
I got industries like I couldn't put this group together if I tried. It's so eclectic. I mean, I got a business coach to doggy daycare centers, financial advisor. I've got a, tax attorney. I've got a luxury shampoo manufacturer whose target market is postmenopausal women with hair loss. I I can't make this stuff up. This
I
this
never
is
even heard of that before. I didn't know that was even a thing.
I
So
had no idea either till I met this guy.
okay.
So.
It's probably actually a really nice niche business.
It is. He's doing really well. That and then hair loss due to chemo.
Yeah.
He's got the it's I don't know what the stuff is. I mean, to me, I don't have much hair, so I don't it doesn't worry. Doesn't matter to me. But yeah, no, he's doing really well.
Good. That's good. So of all the industries that you've worked with from, clients from over the years, has there been one industry in particular that kind of if you could work with just that one industry again and again and again, what would it be?
Yeah, wealth managers and financial advisors seem to be a really good niche for me. A couple of reasons. One, they actually have an in-office experience that we can play around with.
Mhm.
We can improve on how Marge answers the phone or greets people when people walk in. We can do things with the onboarding process. We can do things on the customer retention end of things. I mean, I learned a lot about them. It's a horrible fact that when the primary person dies in a financial advisor firm, so like dad passes away, um, more than 85% of the assets leave the firm, or 85% of the time the assets leave the firm because there's no relationship with anybody else except for the dead guy. Um, and so I've got a strategy that we put in place that takes care of that. The other thing nice about them is, well, they can afford the services. I mean, there's some groups that they're probably great for my coaching program, but they're not great for one-on-one consulting.
Okay. What's the biggest challenge that are you seeing across the board with all clients, and it's kind of been the same one for years? Keeps
Well, I mean, recently the big problem is, how do I use AI? Um,
That's
and
on
I say,
everybody's
well,
mind.
and I'm like, please don't. It's usually my standard answer. I mean, unless you really want to go down a rabbit hole. Um, no, I think that, my predictions are that authenticity is the currency going forward, for businesses. If you've got a machine answering your phone, you're in trouble. Especially if the first option isn't to a human. If you put, speak to an operator at option 19, well, you're irritating a lot of people. Nobody wants to listen to all that. But the people who are answering the phone live with a human, they've got the competitive advantage in this
Absolutely.
marketplace.
I totally agree with that. It's interesting. So I've had a couple guests on the podcast before, and we talk about all these different things. And what I'm starting to see and hear as a pattern is the very first place that you should be using AI, if at all, testing it out is internally.
Yeah.
Don't use it for the external customer facing. That's a bad app,
Yes.
you don't want to be doing that. So, and I do think that there's a couple things. So people of a certain age, right? I think it's pretty much anybody 50 and over, they probably would rather hear a human being. And I think you have to figure out who your target audience is. Once you know who your target market is, I mean, look, if your target market's 20-year-olds or 30-year-olds, then you could probably incorporate a little bit more of that AI initially, but I think at some point you still need to have, I don't know, to me, and I'm old school, I'm
Yeah.
definitely over 50, right? So the industries that you're talking about, some of the ones that those are very much, we want to hear a human being. We want to know there's somebody on the other end of the phone that actually
Yeah.
cares and wants to hear our story, right? And help us find the absolute best solution. Because AI is not good enough yet. Maybe someday it will be, but it is not good enough yet to really help people find the very specific solution that they need the answer to.
Right. And there's anecdotal evidence out there that businesses that have humans doing that customer facing job are more profitable. Just I mean, my own research, if you want to call it that, with McDonald's, you played around with AI. You talk into the squawk box, and it'll spit out your food when you drive up to the next window, but half the time it was wrong. And if you look at your average McDonald's, it does about 4.5 million a year in sales. And then you go drive across the street to your local Chick-fil-A, and there's no squawk box there. There's actual humans standing out there ready to interact with you, talk with you, understand you, give you help. Oh, point to something on the little menu card that they have. And your average Chick-fil-A is doing $8 million a year,
Yeah,
and they're closed one day a week.
that's right.
So to me, there's a correlation between the level of service that you're providing, or the experience you're delivering, and your profitability.
Yeah. It's so interesting. So it's so counterintuitive because everybody thinks if they have the latest, greatest, it's going to make life easier. It's going to make life better. We're going to be more profitable. We'll get more market share. We'll be able to take care of that many more customers. I don't have to pay for somebody, their employee, their insurance, their, whatever labor laws I have to follow, blah, 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 blah. I
Yep.
just stick an AI guy in there and yeah, it doesn't really work that way.
No,
So,
it, I mean, I understand, AI is a tool in the toolbox.
yep.
It should be there to support the front-facing folks that are taking care of, whether it's a technician in your home, somebody answering the phone, whatever. And you're right about the having it you use it internally. Like I used what's the thing called Claude, and I said, can you look at my calendar for the last 60 days and tell me where I'm wasting time? And
It's a good
it
one.
took 3 minutes, looked at my whole calendar and said, well, yeah, you just spent, 26 hours in networking meetings that didn't go anywhere. Ah, fine. Whack. No,
I
no.
love that. That's great.
Yeah, well, I mean, and so what it did though for me is that I now have a two-tier way to get to me. So if I don't know who the heck you are, and you want to get on my calendar, that's fine. I give you 11 minutes. I have an 11-minute call.
Good
And
for
in
you.
that 11 minutes, we determine whether we can stand each other. And if I think that there is going to be, some kind of relationship, whether it be business or I can help them, they can help me, then we'll schedule a 30-minute call where we can go deep. But this way, if it's a dud, I've wasted 11 minutes and that's it. And the thing with the 11 minutes, I can do it from anywhere. It's a phone call, so I don't have to be on Zoom to do it. So if I'm standing in line at the grocery store, or driving the car, I can do my 11-minute call. And I have found that that 26 hours is over the course, so it's at 13 hours a month. We're down to probably like 3 hours a month now.
Good for you. I
So,
love that. So efficiency and time management. That's awesome.
yeah,
There's also, so you brought up a really good point. I, and only because it's top of mind, I just was working with a client last week about this, setting those boundaries. I'm going to start work here. I'm going to end my day here
yep,
and then stick to it. Don't let your clients run your business. You run your business. And I think
exactly.
that's great. So I used to do a 17-minute sales meeting one-on-one, and that was it, 17 minutes. Yours is even faster, 11 minutes.
Yeah.
So
Well, I tell them,
that's good.
put your wallet, especially if it's a prospect. It's also great because now, again, it's, time to figure out, well, one, can we stand each other? Two, can I even help? And I tell them beginning call, there's nothing I got to sell you. I'm not going to sell you anything in 11 minutes. Put your wallet away. Let's just have a good conversation. And so that 11-minute call does a lot of heavy lifting for me.
Good for you. Okay, so let's go back to the beginning. We were talking about client retention because it's so much less expensive to maintain a customer than to get a new one, right? So what are some of the strategies? I don't want you to give away all your, secrets, but is there any like one or two strategies that are really something that everybody should be doing in their business?
Yeah. So I'll give you the overall strategy, and then I'll give you my playbook. So I'll give you my best stuff. That's what I'm here for. So the overall strategy is to continue the emotional connection you created during the initial service, product purchase, whatever it was. If you look at the best companies out there, look at Apple. I mean, when they launch a new product, there's a line that wraps around the block 16 times waiting to get the new I doohickey, whatever it is, right? But when Android or Dell comes out with a new thing, there's no, I mean, oh, is the store open? They don't have that connection, that tribe that they've created. Disney's the same way. Harley Davidson, all these companies have created these emotional connections with their customers. And so we need to do the same thing. And I'm not talking about hugging and loving and all that stuff, but what do you stand for? And, how do you deliver your service? And then once you've done that, hopefully you've created some kind of emotional connection. That's when you've got to continue it. And so I consult with a lot of people and I ask them, do you have a marketing budget? Most of them will say yes. And I ask them the next big question, which they look at me like I got three heads. I say, okay, how much of that budget is for customer retention? And they're like, humming, what?
Yeah.
And so, okay, well, first problem, we need to adjust where we're spending money. But in order for people to, one, come back and buy from you again or refer business, you've got to stay top of mind. I know it sounds cliche, and people say, oh, I just did a good job. They should remember me. And that is so far from the truth. I mean, it is not the customer's job to remember you. It's your job as the business owner to remind the customer you exist. And that pure and simple, that's it. So I have what I call my existence system. And we touch every one of our clients 6 times a month. 6 times. We do a print newsletter. I already mentioned I write one that's a actual subscription that's designed for business people, but I've got one for my carpet cleaning business. So it's designed, it's like Reader's Digest light. So it's got like, Sudoku puzzle in there. It has pictures of my family in there. Stupid criminal stories. That one's, people love that one. And I've been running this newsletter now we're on year 14 of the newsletter. And I think it was like around year 3 or 4. I was tired of the stupid criminal stories. I don't know, I put like a recipe or something in there. We got phone calls. Hey,
Where's
where's the
the
stupid
stories?
criminal stories? And I'm like, well, I mean, it told me a couple of things. One, well,
It's funny.
people are actually reading the thing.
Yeah.
So you got to be entertaining in there. You don't want to talk about the widget that you sell.
And
So if I started talking about carpet cleaning, the new Succomatic 3000, it's got 42,000 horsepower. So
nobody cares.
nobody cares.
Yeah.
But I put a picture of my daughter, who's 5 years old, in her tutu at her first ballet recital. Ooh, that's cool. And then I did that. I shamelessly use my children in my marketing. I have no problem with it. And so I did for like the next 6 years. I took every time she had the ballet recital, I took a picture of her in her tutu and I put it in the newsletter. And we were in the grocery store. I think she was probably like around 10 years old. And this lady came running up to us and she says, "Oh my God, Emma, how was your recital?" We're like, we're ready to go hide in the frozen food section. I'm like, who the hell's this lady? And I had to think, it's got to be one of my clients. My kids have got thousands of aunts and uncles, people that they will never meet. And this lady is either going to have to move or die before she'll stop using us. So that's that emotional connection that we created and that we continued through the newsletter.
Yeah.
And there's nothing salesy in the newsletter either. There's no sales message. It's just designed for stickiness. Then 2 weeks later, we send out the offer postcard. So we'll send a postcard out and say, okay, yeah, time for spring cleaning. Here we'll, for every, room of carpet you clean, we'll clean your patio furniture, something along those lines. And then once a week, we send an email. And now I'm a firm believer in not doing extra work if I don't have to. So I take an article from the newsletter, the promotion from the postcard, I put it in an email, and out it goes. So there's 6 touches
A month.
every single month.
Yeah, that's really
Every
good.
month.
I wish all my clients would do that. I remember back in the day, so I'm going to use a good percentage of my current clients are in the real estate industry. And they're doing very well. They're all successful and they're hunters. So in sales, there's hunters and there's farmers.
Yep.
And they want to go out, the hunters want to go out and just kill something new every day, every day. What's
Yep.
new? What's different? What I need more, I need more, I need more. They don't, and then they want somebody else to take the kill and skin it and
Yeah,
fillet it and
right.
bait.
Yep.
And then you can plant the seeds and you can do all that. I'm just one. And when you're in business and you're the business owner, you have to do both. You have to do the hunting and you have to do the farming. And you've got to continually nurture to
Yep.
your point, you have to continually nurture and till and water and give sunshine and sometimes even sing and talk to those plants, right?
Yep.
While you're getting new. And what ends up happening is, I think, and my clients see the benefit of it. You start to get referrals so that you're not constantly out there having to hunt,
100%.
right?
You've
So
got to
those,
cultivate referrals just like you do
yes,
clients.
yes.
I say cultivate referral partners. People that,
Oh, yeah.
are gonna can refer to you multiple times, and it's not just your Uncle Harry down the street that, got referred to you.
I talk to my client. It's like that what you're saying so resonates. I tell my clients, get out of your industry. Stop trying to build referral networks just inside of the same industry that you're in. It's nepotism. Stop
Yeah.
it. I said, look at who else sells to your target market. Is it
Yep.
real estate attorneys? Is it title and insurance companies? Is it home inspectors, stagers? I said, start to build those relationships and start to network with those people because you'll grow exponentially and
Yep.
you'll have to do less of the hunting.
Yep. Yep. And you have to nurture those referral
Yes.
partners just like you do your clients. So in my home service businesses, we have a sales, it's not really a salesperson, marketing assistant. And their whole job is to go around and travel to all of our referral partners. I call them power bases. And they go, and their job is to be the face of the company with regularity in the office, at least weekly. Not there to sell, just there to support. We actually use what I call candy bowl marketing.
Oh, I used to
So,
do that. Oh my God. Tell the audience what that is. I love that.
yeah, well, but it works. So I
It
mean,
does work.
a salesperson's coming a mile away, right? Oh, he's got brochures, he's got stuff. We put candy bowls in people's offices, and refilling the candy bowl is the excuse to go back into the office. It's not to sell them something. So we're just there to refill the candy bowl. Oh, by the way, here's a couple more of our brochures. Oh, you need some office supplies? Here's some pens and notepads and
Yeah.
stuff. Um, but that candy bowl refilling gives us the opportunity to go into that office every single week.
And check
Um,
with the gatekeeper what's going on because they know.
exactly. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I love that. You know who's really good at that? They don't do well, they might actually do the candy jars, but the prescription drug companies, they are
They used to be
very
good
good.
at it.
They are very good at it. They will go to every doctor's office. They will give samples of all of the different medications that they're pushing that they want the doctors
Yep.
to, give out. And then they'll talk to the receptionist and they'll say, so what do you need? Do you need pens? I'll get you pens. You guys
Yep.
need clipboards? We'll get you clipboards. And their logos all over whatever they
Oh,
give.
of course.
Yeah. So it's there. I believe they're still pretty good at it. You
They're
become
good at it. Sadly, the federal government got involved and put a cap on the amount of stuff you can give a doctor.
I don't think that's unfortunate. I'm actually really happy to
Well,
hear that because I think it was a little bit, it was almost like the prescription drug mafia, it was
yeah,
like,
yeah. Well,
but
my son is actually he works for the company. So when the pharmaceutical company wants to push a new drug, they take all the doctors out to dinner and they do their little dog and pony show and everything, and it's a big wonkin steak dinner and whiskey and everything. My son's only job is to make sure that the per doc spend doesn't exceed however many dollars. That's his job. He goes around drinking all around the country and eating just to make sure that pharmacies don't spend too much money on diamond. What I said, how did you get that job? I want that job. That's great.
yeah. There's back in the day, my husband was working for a very big investment firm. They did 401k management, those type of things. And there was one guy, and his sole job was customer relations. That's all
Yep.
he was meant to do. That's it. You go out, just like you were saying, you go out, you meet with the clients, check on how they're being handled, if they're happy with their account manager, if they're happy with the way things are going. And whatever you find out, you come back and you give us feedback. That was his job. That was his job. I think there's a lot of companies that don't value that anymore. They don't
Right.
see the value in that, especially for solopreneurs. So, it's interesting. So about a little over a year ago, I'm just going to use an example in the real estate industry. A little over a year ago, we were working very closely with a real estate agent. We were buying an investment property. And while we were in the process, we got to know the husband and the kids and the whole story, and everything was, very, it was really very nice.
Right.
And after closing, it kind of tapered off a little bit. And within 3 months, I never heard from this agent again. And I'm thinking to myself, how short-sighted.
It's colossally stupid.
It, yes, yeah, it is. And you know what? There's that might not be our one and only investment property. We might know
Right.
other people who want to, right, buy, sell, or invest in property, and you're not even top of mind anymore.
Yep.
Like, you spent all of that energy. We spent hours looking at different
Yeah.
properties and going over numbers. And I mean, you're looking at someone's financials, and then you just kind of like 3 months later, okay, next, moving on to the next kill. It doesn't leave a good taste in the client's mouth. So think about that when and I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to the listeners. Like really think about if you go back and you look at the perspective of the clients that you worked with, how do you think they feel about you now?
Right.
Do a little assessment, a little check-in.
It never hurts.
No.
Never hurts. What you unveil is probably gold to help you fix the business.
Yeah. They're so I once had an opportunity to work for a very large global company. I was working with them for 2.5 years as consultant. And anyway, so the CEO of the company, $1 billion a year company, global company, every morning, 1 hour, he got on his phone, he picked up the phone and he called all of those customers that helped him start his business years before.
Yep.
Every day he called a few more people every morning, 5 days a week for an hour every morning. Still does it to the day. And he would remember and he would take notes like kids' names, their holidays, who's graduating,
Yep.
their favorite team. That is like, I don't know if that's a lost art or it's just an underappreciated, underrated
It,
skill.
it's oh my God, you mean I got to pick up the phone?
Yeah.
That's the sad thing. Actually, one of my clients, we actually, he was having some problems with employee engagement, like, especially like the support roles. And so we actually had the support people calling the customers. So, like the janitor had to call 5 people just to say hi, how are you? Can we help you with anything? And the people would be like, "You're the what?" But yeah, I'm the custodian here at ABC Company. We really believe in taking care of our customers, and so I'm just calling to see if there's anything we can do.
That's fantastic. What kind
And
of
every,
response?
the accounting department did it, HR, everybody,
Great.
and you never knew who was going to call who. But they had a system down where that's what they did.
So what kind of responses did they get?
Oh my, their customer retention is insane. I mean, they're in an industrial division. They make pumps. They like big, massive pumps. And so they're selling to companies that are, oh, I can get the pump parts for a nickel less. Great, I'm going with you. So there's a lot of
Yeah.
just people changing vendors all the time. Not with these guys. They have increases. I mean, you might get 1 or 2 people say, "Hey, what's up with that price increase?" But out of the thousands of customers they have, no,
Yeah.
their marketing budget is a third of what others in the industry are because their entire company is doing the marketing. They're just picking up the phone and calling existing customers.
I think that's great. Good for them. Good for them. I think it's
Yeah,
fantastic. It's so funny. You hear so many companies say, well, we give our clients white glove service. Well, okay, but what happens after you get the money?
yeah.
Where's the white gloves now?
Yeah. Well, it's
Yeah.
just like going and buying clothes or buying something in the store. I went to, I think it was the Brooks Brothers or something. And, the cashier was, stood there, opened the door for me as I came in. Can I help you? What are you looking for? I said, okay, just looking for some Oxfords. Okay, what color? And got me, okay, are you slim fit, full figure, whatever? And, got it. And she was very nice at the register and, swiped my credit card and got my little bag. And that was it. They got my money.
Yeah. No.
Now their job is done. Now they don't have to be nice to me. Now they don't have to open the door, say thank you, nothing.
That's so interesting. That reminds me of we had a timeshare experience. Oh my gosh. So we did this marketing thing. We got into this marketing thing where you go for 3 nights, you get 3 free nights, right? As long as
Yep,
you do a 1.5 hour timeshare marketing call.
yep,
And my husband and I were like, all right, well, yeah, we'll see what it's about, right? So we go in there and they've already kind of figured out your financial situation.
sure.
And this is a couple years ago, and it's actually it's 5 years ago before we moved here. And we go in there, and they're treating us like, "Would you like coffee?" There's like the whole like just like you're saying, like they're really nice to us. We get into the sales office now. We're one on one with the sales guy, and we're like, we really don't have any interest in buying timeshare. And it's like he doesn't want to hear that, so he keeps talking. And we're like, no, you don't understand. We're going to get, and we don't want to be rude because probably most people would have just gotten up and walked out, but we're too nice. I think that we must have like they're nice people, so keep them in their office sign somewhere on our faces. So he actually leaves because he says, well, if you guys are done, then I have to just get somebody to check you out, to say that you were here and so that you validated your 3 nights.
Yep,
Vance, we sat in that room for almost a half hour, and finally my husband said, not the nicest words, and he's like, we're out. We're done. We're done. Like
yeah,
we think he left and just forgot about us. We don't know. So we start to walk out, and then everybody's like, "Oh no, you can't go out that way because those are the perspective. They have a separate door. Like if you
yep,
don't buy, like you see people getting like bottles of champagne. Like, thank you so much. You're so wonderful. Congratulations. You just gave us $10,000. Here's a bottle
yep.
of champagne. We didn't get that door. We got the booby trap door. So,
The one that puts you in the alley in the back of the building, right?
God, I'm so see, yeah. So my husband and I were like, oh, okay, we're never doing that again. So sorry to all you sales guys out there who were selling timeshare, but no, you got to change your strategy because it really sucked. It really
Yep.
did.
If you want to go through a timeshare sales process that is just over the top amazing, Disney Vacation Club.
They do a good
Spend
job.
the hour one
Yeah.
day the next time you're down there.
Okay.
You feel stupid not buying one at the end of it. I mean, really, I mean, they do such a great job, and there is no booby trap door either.
Okay. So I'll put that on. All right. I might have to give my husband like, a couple beers to get him in there, but maybe
Whatever it takes.
we'll give that a shot. Oh my gosh. So I really appreciate the conversation. And I think this is so valuable. I'm hoping that entrepreneurs and C-level, C-suite managers and CEOs that are hearing this, because my takeaway is like, if you don't have a good customer follow-up service system, then you don't have anything. Stop it.
Yeah. What was it? Bob Newhart with the whole when he was a psychologist and
Oh my
stop
God.
it was
Stop
the
it. Yeah.
oh my God. I saw that a couple of weeks ago again. It was just
Stop
it's
it.
timeless.
That must be in the back of my mind because, yeah, I say that a lot actually. So I probably
Stop
stole it
it.
from him. I probably got it from him. And for those of you who don't know Bob Newhart, go watch a YouTube video.
Yes. The stop it video. Bob Newhart. He's a psychologist. It's
Oh
great.
my God, it's so funny. So, all right, Mr. Morris, if someone wants to get a hold of you or take advantage of the trip in late October to Disney to mastermind with other CEOs, C-level suite business
Yep.
owners, and get a chance to really have a conversation with you, how do they do that?
Best bet is to go to the website, which is vancemorris.com. Nice, simple,
It
easy.
is simple.
And you'll see the drop down for either the mastermind or the Disney event.
We touched on a lot of really great things today, but if there was one takeaway, what would you like it to be from the listeners?
Well, I don't have a lot of quotes. Well, I have no quotes associated with me except for one. And it's you won't profit unless you implement. So you heard a lot of ideas today on this podcast. Maybe you read something somewhere. Take one idea and go do it,
Just do it.
implement it.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that's going to move the needle. So that would be the message. Just do something.
Do something. Just stop it. Stop thinking
Stop
about it. Just
it. Do
do it.
something. Yep.
Just do it. That's Nike, right? Just do it.
Just do it. Yep.
Just do it. Just do it. All right. Thank you again. It was such a pleasure having the conversation with you. I really appreciate it. And I'm going to check my calendar for that October date and I'm going to
Yeah.
see about joining you guys. And so, anyway, thank you again. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you, Deborah. I appreciate you having me on.